So yeah, it's really, as I said, how to drive customers to your website. There's going to be a full tutorial with a video and training on my site. So there's 6 steps. The first one is to get your monitoring in place. So your Google Analytics, your Search Console, and if you want it, some kind of a CRM like HubSpot. People in the past have used Salesforce, but HubSpot's a really nice free one for small businesses. Then you look to understand where your customers are going, have a look at what your competitors are doing. Then once you've done that, you prepare all your channels, make sure that all your bios, profiles, images, etc. match up, so you look professional, everything's on point, and when they go to your site, they really know what your brand is about. The next thing is to create like a lead magnet or like a story for them to come back for. So in my case, that's the Bitesize Marketing Guides. So everyone knows every Friday there's training. A week after that, they get emailed with the overview of that training. And then it's about building relationships, so nurturing those customers and turning them into repeat customers. And then finally, looking at monitoring. So that's looking at the results from your campaigns and improving on them. The monitoring can come at any point through. Again, this is just like a 6-step process. If you follow it, you will drive more customers to your site and more sales and more relationships. So initially, as a snapshot, I use Google Analytics, Google Search. These can all be set up on your site really quickly. And then a CRM, which basically tracks the customer. And in this instance, we're using HubSpot. And I actually give training on how to set all this up and how to get your kind of company listed. And then, yeah, so when you're using Google Analytics, it's just about why you're using the tool. Think, like, rather than looking at all of the hundreds of options, just have a think, and you want to know who's going to your site, how long they're there for, what's making them leave. So you can go into Google Analytics after you started working and see someone's going from the home page to the contact. What is it about that page that's making them bounce off and go somewhere else? And then you just work to improve that to keep them on your site or to keep them getting in contact with you. And then again, you use that in sync with HubSpot to tell you who your customers are and what's made them convert. So if you're doing your social media, your emails, your telemarketing, all of these aspects kind of come together in HubSpot, and you can pick out which of those are really working for you. This is a quick look at Google Analytics. The ones for a new user, you want to focus on audience and acquisition. And we're doing a session in a couple of weeks to actually go through this in more detail. But for now, it's really just seeing where your traffic's from. So you can see here, 310 from referrals, 239 from people typing it in directly. And you can see like emails bringing in 36. So this will show you which of your marketing is actually working for you and then how long they're spending on the site. And obviously over time you can see if you do a PR release or a popular event, you can really see here, this is when I did my PR release, there's a huge kind of incline in leads on the website. And then so once you've got that set up, it's about HubSpot. And again, this is a snapshot, so there is a much longer, more detailed version of this. But this is your CRM is bringing in all of your touch points. So your phones, your meetings, your web visits, emails, forms, everything that you're doing, you'll pull that into one place. And it's about building up like a customer profile. It'll tell you every time they've engaged with you and their responses. And it's just a nice thing to have running in the background all the time. Every time you send an email, it will track it, it will monitor it for you. And it's really about like introducing someone who's a stranger, giving them a reason to engage with you, to make them a prospect, giving them a way to buy from you, to become a customer. And then once they're a customer, use content and story building and extra added value to turn them into a promoter. So once they know about you and they bought from you, you want to give them a reason to recommend you to their friends, their family, people in their network. And this is where like the CRM and this intelligence helps you to do that. Again, there's a lot here, but looking at customer touch points, basically everywhere someone's going to engage with you, whether it's your socials, email marketing, these Zooms have been a really good customer touch point. It's just you got to make sure that you keep track of when a lead goes onto there, and then from there when they actually get in touch and buy from you. But you can see here you've got SEO tools, which we covered in 7 and 11, in-person networking, email responses, even things like Eventbrite, Meetup, and Nextdoor. Maybe sometimes you haven't thought about it, And then also don't be afraid to ask. So if you've got a long-term customer, you can ask them what channels they enjoy using, how they normally engage with businesses. And then also for a lot of us, we're small businesses targeting other small businesses. So it's quite easy to think like your customer and kind of see what you would normally do and try and adapt your marketing to fit around that. And then the biggest tip for most people is to look at your competitors. So once you know where your customers normally go, you've got to see what your competitors are doing. For this, you can build up a storyboard using something like Trello. And then you can use, I don't know if any of you know Facebook Ads Library. It's a free way to see what big companies are doing in terms of Facebook ads. So kind of the messaging they're using, the imaging, the time of day, etc. And you can get a free kind of snapshot of what they're doing and then replicate that in your posts. You don't have to use ads. You can just kind of find what's working, find what you like, and then use that in your own marketing. For me, for example, I really like Neil Patel. I think he's got a good content strategy. So I took what I think are his kind of core elements, like the email marketing, the live videos, the content series, and I'm trying to build something like that myself. Obviously very small and very niche compared to his, but you pick out the aspirations from a competitor and use that to your advantage.
Just give you 3 minutes.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Again, and then looking at your branding, so making sure that everything matches up. If you're going to have messaging on your website, it's got to match with your Facebook. So, for example, this is the front of the website. You've got the strapline, the image, and the offering. If someone then goes from there to Facebook, they can instantly see, I've used that image, but it's also in the messaging, in the taglines, the logos. Everything has to match up so people can start to trust you. Again, Twitter, everything follows suit, and use the same kind of branding in your images. These are all for the training videos. And then it's about creating a story. So in my case, that's the marketing guides. But you really want to pick a niche and then look at how you can actually deliver that, how you can offer content to people or training or some kind of value they're going to buy into. So I know that John does his newsletters, and it's about creating that regular kind of contact with your client or your potential customer. Again, there's more text on here because it's normally a longer series. The next thing is about building those relationships and creating repeat customers. So if someone's bought from you once, it doesn't mean they're going to buy from you again. It doesn't make them like a repeat customer. So it's just about appreciating when someone does like work with you, and then pick up the phone, give them a call. If you're working with a small number of businesses, you can literally just pick up the phone and just have a chat every few months, just check in with them, find out what they want. And then really always ask about their business. So ask them what challenges they've got. Don't boast, talk about yourself. Find out what they're looking to do next and use that as your talking point. And then finally, it's monitoring results. So once you've found prepared, got everything in place, looked at the customer touch points and the competitors, looked at your story, looked at how you're going to engage with them, then you review and update your campaigns. So for example, I found that email marketing is doing really well, so I'm spending more time on that at the moment. It's important to set goals, but be realistic, and then also to look for the next 12 months. So if you've got Christmas or summer or something coming up, you would adjust your campaigns around the seasons and the external factors. And then this is really just covering each point, asking a question for yourself to cover each of those. And I'll share this with you afterwards, so just to give you like a checklist. And then just final little tips. Don't ignore any relationship. Someone who might be seen as a competitor could end up being a really good partner. Some of you know Jeannie Shapiro. We, on the face of it, we're like direct competitors, but in fact, we've been working together for a year, being like really good kind of like contra deals, kind of sharing work, working together on certain projects. So it's, yeah, don't ignore any relationship, and also be a bit creative with your marketing. So if you don't like social, if you don't like Instagram, but you like that direct contact, focus on what you can do well at first. So don't kind of push yourself to do marketing that's not natural to you. And also look at other channels. So we use Eventbrite, Meetup, Chambers of Commerce, business centers, personal contacts, directories, forums, enterprise hubs. A lot of these you might have covered, but it's about going back and then reaching out to them on like a monthly basis, try and find out who's in charge of their marketing and create some kind of like a press release. And then, yeah, go back and ask for feedback. Always go back and see what's working by just making direct contact.
Fantastic.
I know it was short, but again, we've got the full training video coming out in about a week's time to give you that checklist. Just going to stop that.
Great. Okay. I always find I joined one of Theo's power hours a couple of weeks ago on his keywords, where he talked about Neil Patel. So he's always got something valuable to give, and so that was really interesting about those Facebook already created ads that you can just essentially replicate. So that was the tip I took away today, amongst the many.